Welcome to Thrive in Design, a podcast about making money and beautiful interiors as it relates to product-based businesses in the interior design industry. Each week, we'll discuss innovative strategies on how to approach product development and design sales in a shifting market. I'm your host, Nicole Lashae Ben. Hello, and welcome back for another episode of the Thrive in Design podcast. You all have been listening to some amazing episodes with amazing guests for the last 3 episodes. You heard from Stacey Garcia. You heard from Lauren Henley McKinnon. You heard from Reed Palmer. And I hope that you caught all the gems that they all shared in every single episode, that you took something away that you're able to apply to your own business, to your own interior product brand. And I just hope that you are left inspired. Another thing that you might have heard drop on a few of these episodes is just information about our M-Social program. Over the last few years, I have been keenly focused on interior product manufacturers, and that has not changed. But I've also had an influx of interest from multi-line reps that are interested in upping their game in terms of marketing. Multi-line reps are entrepreneurs, and they need help with their marketing. They are managing multiple different lines, multiple different clients, and tons of different projects. It is hard for them to manage their social media while they are on the move. So because of this, because I've had this large influx of multi-line reps saying, hey, Nicole, can Thrive in Design also help me with my marketing? It took me a while, but I finally came up with a solution for them as well. So this summer, we have launched M-Social, our monthly marketing subscription for multi-line reps. I know that's a lot of M's, where we help multi-line reps with their basics of marketing. We create their content, we schedule it out to their social media platforms. We also give them some social media prompts so that they can find creativity to create their own content while they're out and about, and also give them some inspiration for their email marketing campaigns. So if you're interested in learning more about M-Social, go to thriveindesign.co/M-Social, or if you know of a multi-line rep that needs some help with their marketing, send them that link as well. So I'm super excited about all the guests that you guys have heard from in this season, and super excited about the M-Social program growing because, yes, it is so needed, and it's the first of its kind in our industry. Whenever you are listening to this, just know, whatever month it is, we are taking on 5 new clients in the M-Social program. So every month we open up 5 new spots. And so grab yours before we set a limit and say no more. Again, that's thriveindesign.co/M-Social. So let's get into today's episode. Today is a solo episode. As you guys know, when I do solo episodes, I have lots to share with you. In this season of the podcast, we've been dibbling and dabbling around the topic of trade shows and sales strategies for trade shows. This year, I have been on the move and going to all the things. I went to HD, I went to NeoCon, I'll be going to BD&Y later this year. And one of the topics that really sparked for me, especially when I went to NeoCon, is guerrilla marketing. If you guys know, Thrive in Design is more than just a podcast. We really focus on helping interior product brands with their branding, their marketing, and their sales strategy. When it comes to marketing specifically, most of the times, brands will think about marketing as, let's show up on social media. You're creating content to talk about your products, maybe talk about the technical details of your products, maybe showcase really cool projects where your product was installed and featured, which is all wonderful. But there's a whole other side of marketing that a lot of times brands don't even think about or even know the term for. So today, I actually want to touch on guerrilla marketing. And no, not Gorilla Glue, not Gorilla Tape, or whatever the things are, or not even King Kong, okay? I want to talk about the definition of guerrilla marketing, go into understanding what guerrilla marketing is. I want to talk about a brand that mastered, when I say mastered guerrilla marketing at NeoCon. And no, this is not sponsored by them. I am just a fan of what they pulled off at NeoCon. And hopefully you guys could take away some tidbits to apply to your own interior product brand. Or even if you're not an interior product brand, if you're even a rep, this can help you as well. So let's get into it. Guerrilla marketing. What is it? Guerrilla marketing is an unconventional marketing strategy that focuses on low-cost, high-impact tactics designed to create memorable and engaging experiences for the audience. It emphasizes creativity, surprise, and interaction to achieve maximum exposure with minimal budget. So the key in that last sentence, maximum exposure with minimal budget. A lot of times brands will come to me and say, hey, we don't really have much money to focus on our marketing. What can we do? So let's go into the key characteristics in guerrilla marketing. So some of the key characteristics of guerrilla marketing is 1, creativity and innovation. You must think outside of the box for guerrilla marketing. It's not your standard create this post or create this graphic for social media and announce your new product line. It's not even your standard, let's create this product presentation slideshow and make sure that we share it with all of our reps. You have to ensure that you are thinking outside of the box, being creative and innovative when you're thinking guerrilla marketing. The second part of guerrilla marketing is cost effectiveness. As we all know, marketing can get pretty pricey, even if you're thinking about traditional ways of marketing for an interior product brand, whether it's paying the graphic designer to create the graphics, even if you're dabbling in paid media on Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, all the things. If you are coming up with marketing materials, right? You have that new product launch and you're coming up with new tip cards, new binders that you're sending out to all of your reps across the country so that they could do placement in design libraries. All of that costs money. Guerrilla marketing, you want to be very effective with the cost or the investment that you're making in the marketing. The third characteristic of guerrilla marketing is high impact and memorability. This is not only creative and innovative, but it has a high impact on your audience and they are able to remember it in a lot of ways. And when I say a lot of ways, guerrilla marketing will have so many touch points that your customers or your audience will be like, wow, wow, wow. And they'll leave thinking about your brand because it's literally everywhere, or it's just so memorable because of the impact that you made or the idea that you executed is just amazing. And then the fourth characteristic of guerrilla marketing is to really focus on audience interaction and engagement. So key, interaction and engagement, not just an announcement where they're seeing it, consuming it, but your audience needs to be interacting and engaging with the marketing and or the brand in some way to really be effective. Okay. So let's go into that even further. There's so many benefits of guerrilla marketing. We've already touched on high level of what guerrilla marketing is, what the characteristics are, but what is the benefits? So your traditional ways of marketing, especially in interior product brands. You have your product samples, you have your binders, you have maybe leave behinds in libraries, and your social team might be doing some fun and innovative content to really engage with designers for your brand. And even to take it a step further, traditional marketing has really tapped into getting your reps to have their own brand presence and their own social media presence online to engage with their clientele. All of those things are topics of marketing that I have talked about on this podcast before. Traditional marketing, social selling, and all the things. But the advantages of guerrilla marketing over traditional marketing, this is not an and or, this is an add-on to what you're already doing. But guerrilla marketing really is budget friendly, especially for small businesses. Tons of brands always come to me who are small business owners, who are multi-line reps, who are maybe in like the first 5 years of their business, and they're really looking to be lean. Guerrilla marketing also has a high ROI potential, and it has the potential of increased brand awareness and virality. The main thing that I always talk about is we want to increase your brand awareness first. If no one knows about your brand, then we cannot convert them to a customer. So the main thing you want to do, especially if you have a small budget, is to increase that brand awareness and go viral in some way that, again, your audience can remember you. Your audience can go back to their design office and tell their other staff members about what they experienced with your interior product brand. especially at a trade show. So guerrilla marketing, again, can be implemented in a lot of different ways. Specifically for this episode, we're going to talk about guerrilla marketing at a trade show. That's been the theme of this season. We've been talking about trade shows in episode 1, in episode 3 with Lauren Henley McKinnon. And now I want to keep it going with guerrilla marketing specifically as it relates to trade shows. So let's think about a case study. You guys, I went to NeoCon June 2024 and it was amazing. It was epic. This is my second year at NeoCon. Yes, I've only been twice, but let me tell you, I had a time. I ran into so many people that I know and love, even reacquainted with people who I had not seen in years since my time as a rep in New York City. And it was just amazing. So many brands stood out to me at NeoCon as well. Brands that were doing really fun things with interaction in their showroom, really fun parties, just so many things. But the brand that stood out to me the most, and you all might know who I'm about to mention, is Momentum. Momentum executed guerrilla marketing like none other that I have ever seen before. And mind you, I went to NeoCon last year and Momentum, they did it up, but they did it even further this year when it came to guerrilla marketing. So let's talk about types of guerrilla marketing tactics. And then I'm going to break down everything Momentum did, at least from my lens, from somebody who just attended the show and was breaking it down from a marketing perspective, how it was executed. So first, let's talk about the types of guerrilla marketing tactics. The first is street marketing. So some examples of street marketing are flash mobs, street performances, public art. The next type of guerrilla marketing tactic is an ambient marketing. So that's using environmental elements creatively. The third is experiential marketing. So interactive events and activities. Fourth is viral marketing, so leveraging social media for organic reach. And the fifth is stealth marketing, subtle, undercover marketing tactics. Okay, so let's get into what Momentum did, or at least what I noticed they did. Of course, you could probably reach out to their marketing team, or maybe not, who knows, and they might give you a breakdown on this, but this is what I witnessed at NeoCon. So let's break down what they did to set the foundation for all of these types of guerrilla marketing tactics. So the first thing that Momentum did before they even thought about all of the guerrilla marketing tactics was they established a partnership with an artist to create a new collection. And this is something that I talked about in episode 1 of this season. A lot of times, your brands are creating new collections with the same product development team every year, which is fine to create, the basics. If they're really trend focused, if they are on it with like color trends and fashion trends and everything, and they are ahead of the curve when it comes to product development, wonderful. Or they just might be really expert at creating basics for your line, which is great. But the key to really make this guerrilla marketing campaign stellar that Momentum did was establish an artist collaboration that had not been seen before. Another key for this that I thought was amazing was that they found a Black artist. Okay. There are not a lot of brands in the industry. And I can say this as a Black woman, I have not seen many brands focus on collaborations with artists, with minority artists in general, and especially not with Black people. So Momentum did a collaboration with a Black British artist named Yinka Alori. So Yinka already had his own brand established, had already done amazing collaborations with other product brands, with other experience brands and everything like that. And they had been following his work for very long. He also was well known, or is well known, for his color play in all of the development and the designs that he does. So Momentum, being a textile wall covering company, color play is something that could be used in a very innovative way in their products. So step 1 was establishing a partnership with an amazing artist, right? And it helped to bring in a diverse artist, which I hope to see more happening in our industry. This was the basis for their success. Okay. So how did they break that out for NeoCon? First of all, they launched the collection at NeoCon. Keep in mind that HD Expo was maybe, let's say, a month or so before NeoCon. So they could have launched the collection at HD Expo, but they decided to launch this collection at NeoCon. So those were two key elements. One, the artist collaboration. Two, deciding on which trade show to launch it at. So instead of HD, they decided, hey, NeoCon. NeoCon is also known to have over 50,000 attendees. So this is going to have more eyes on their brand and more eyes on this product launch than it would have had at HD. That's even a breakdown. I can go on and on. Artist collaboration, deciding when to launch. When are the most eyes going to be on this brand, and how can we maximize this product launch with guerrilla marketing? This episode was brought to you by Fracture. Fracture is revolutionizing digital photos and artwork with their stunning glass prints. Unlike traditional framing, Fracture prints your images directly onto durable, frameless glass, creating a sleek, modern look that fits any decor. Each print is vibrant, scratch-resistant, and ready to hang with an included mounting kit. Plus, Fracture is committed to sustainability using eco-friendly materials and packaging. As a business, you can use glass prints for wayfinding, signage, wall decor, awards, and more. Head to fractureme.com/business to learn more. Elevate your space with stunning glass prints from Fracture. So, how did they break it down with these types of guerrilla marketing tactics? When it came to street marketing, remember, street marketing are things like flash mobs, street performances, public art. In collaboration with the artist also did a short film, okay? I didn't personally see the film, but I did see a little bit of clips of the film and understood how it really played into the story behind his personal brand. One of the nights of NeoCon, that film was actually projected on the front of the merchandise mart. Now, if you guys don't even understand what I'm talking about, please Google it. I think it's called Art on the Mart. So you're able to project imagery and video on the front of the merchandise mart and use the mart as a backdrop, as your canvas, as your screen with one of the world's biggest projectors. So in tandem with this, of course, the artist did a speech in front of the mart, introduced the film, and then this film was projected on the mart. So that's street marketing, public art, a public film that was projected on the merchandise mart, the very building where this collection would launch during NeoCon. Number one. The second, ambient marketing, using environmental elements creatively. So of course, Momentum has an amazing showroom in the merchandise mart. Now, last year when I went, it looked completely different. Of course, it has the same bones and the same structure, the same floor plan, but they really did it up with maximizing every square inch that they could to showcase this new collection designed by Yinka Ilori. So when you went into the space, you had the entire ambiance of what this artist was about, what the collection was about. You saw the colorful patterns everywhere on the furniture, on the walls, on the flat lays that they had laid around. You also heard music playing in the background. So to set an ambiance, it's not always just the visuals, but they invigorated your senses with music as well. So one important fact about the artist, Yinka Ilori, is that he is of Nigerian descent. So Afro beats and Nigerian music was always playing in the background of the Momentum showroom as you went in and out, to really understand the culture behind the artist and to really invigorate people as they were coming into the showroom. So that ambient marketing was there. Then we have experiential marketing. So experiential marketing is interactive events and activities. So what they did well with NeoCon is that, and we'll get into this in a second, is that they use the maximum experience of NeoCon to the T. So of course, we saw the film on the outside of the mart. We experienced the collection inside of the showroom, but there were also other interactive events and activities happening during the trade show. So the first that I noticed was they had a happy hour event in their showroom to invite people in to meet the artists. The second, they locked down a keynote speech, They locked down a keynote speech. They had Yinka Ilori as the person answering questions. And they also had the president of ASID and IIDA on the stage to bring in more people to be curious about this and to ask some really insightful questions. Even more epic about this keynote was that it was a full panel of people of color. That has rarely ever happened at NeoCon, let alone any other trade show. Our industry does not have a lot of representation of people of color, so for them to pull that off, amazing. So that interactive element not only gave insight into the artist, it also allowed for the audience members, if they did not have a chance to meet the artist one-on-one, to ask questions from the audience during that session. Okay? So experiential marketing, they did that event in their showroom, and then they also locked in on a talk, a panel discussion as one of the keynotes for the event. Now let's talk about viral marketing, that fourth tactic when it comes to guerrilla marketing. Now, viral marketing is typically thought of as leveraging social media for organic reach. But when it came to Momentum and this collaboration with Yinka Ilori, they kind of turned it on its head a little bit. Now, of course, they leveraged social media very eloquently, right? They used Instagram, they used LinkedIn to make organic posts. And I believe they even had some paid media going out to create hype around the collection launch for NeoCon. But the most important virality that they did was they did collaborations with, I believe, over 30 showrooms, if I'm not wrong. It was at least 25, you guys. So for me, it felt like anywhere that I went at NeoCon, I saw part of the pattern for the textiles that were designed by this artist. I was on the 12th floor, the 11th floor, the 3rd floor, the 5th floor. Like no matter what floor I was on, anywhere that I turned, it felt like I saw a part of their collection somewhere in somebody else's showroom. So the virality of it was that those collaborations with those showrooms, they were able to put product placement in different showrooms so that one, you saw it everywhere. Two, you saw how it could be used in different applications. And then three, you saw how it could be used in different settings. NeoCon is a place that shows workplace settings. It shows healthcare settings. There were some showrooms that even had a childlike feel for children's healthcare. So they did a really good job of placing the product in different places so that everywhere you turned, you saw the collection, whether it was in their showroom or in somebody else's. Another one of the strategic things that they did with virality was landing the cover of Metropolis magazine to feature the artist, and of course, a spread to talk about the artist and this collaboration with Momentum. They had placement in the interior design magazine, Metropolis magazine, set up, I believe, on the 11th floor of the Mart. They just had it everywhere. And you want it to be everywhere when you want your marketing to go viral. The last tactic of guerrilla marketing is stealth marketing. So stealth marketing is a subtle undercover marketing tactic. And so this marketing tactic was super subtle, and it was very similar to what a lot of brands do at NeoCon. A bag, right? Brands love to give away something at a trade show, and in most cases, it's a bag. I've heard a lot of designers say that they are all bagged out. They don't want another bag. So if you don't ever create another bag, it is okay. I give you permission to come up with another idea. But I will say that Momentum pulled off their bags better than any other brand that I saw at NeoCon. So what they did was they took one of the textile designs from the collection and they made it into this really beautifully crafted handbag, like a little mini tote that can really be a fashion statement with an outfit. So it was not your typical canvas bag or felt bag that I've seen other brands doing. It was something that somebody could actually pair with their outfits because, hello, I did the next day after I got my bag from Momentum, I wore it with my outfit. It was cute. So they really put intention behind the type of bag that they designed. And then second, it was very high quality. And then third, the key here was that they had a limited number that they were only passing out at certain times of the day. I believe they only passed them out on Monday morning and Tuesday morning until they were all gone. And I believe they only had let's say maybe 1,000. I might be making that number up. But because they have a limited amount, that created scarcity for people. One, people were excited. They were excited about this brand collaboration, this product launch. They saw it everywhere, all over the showrooms or Metropolis Magazine, all the things. And they're like, hey, I want one of these bags. They're super high quality and it could look cute with my summer outfit. And so because it created scarcity for the people at the trade show, one, those people, especially designers, were getting in contact with their reps right away saying, hey, when do you come into my office? Do you guys have another allotment of these bags that you can bring? Right. So it made immediate contact. I literally saw it happening of designers reaching out to their reps or talking with their reps in the showroom to schedule an appointment for that rep to come in. Now, of course, the rep will then come in with the bag, but it might spark conversation for projects that they are working on to, again, land specifications, and those specifications turn into sales. And the second thing that the bag did was create scarcity for people who were not able to get the bags. So the second day when I was walking through the hallways with my exclusive Momentum bag, people were stopping me like, oh my God, where did you get the bag? And then I'm like, oh, there's none left. And they were so bummed that they didn't get any. Or there were moments where people offered to pay me for my bag. Imagine creating so much buzz about your brand that your free bag is sparking conversations in the hallway. So of course I was like, oh, it was designed by Yinka Alori at Momentum. So you've now made an evangelist out of me and every other person that has gotten a part of your brand through this bag to go spread the news through the hallways about this bag that they're now carrying. And I saw several people carrying it on day 2 and day 3. So those are just the little subtle undercover things that this one simple bag, one beautifully handcrafted bag with the textile design incorporated into it, pulled off for Momentum. And again, this episode is not sponsored by Momentum. This is just a full-on breakdown case study of genius in guerrilla marketing that I witnessed at NeoCon. So now let's talk about for you. So you're a brand, you're listening to this and you're like, oh, wow, like I would love to do all of those things, but where do I start? Well, first of all, you can hire the team at Thrive and Design. So if you're interested in working with us, head to thriveanddesign.co/contact and schedule a discovery call. We can talk about what it is like for your team right now. If you have a marketing team, if you don't, how you can pull off some guerrilla marketing tactics for your upcoming trade show. And we can do all the things for you guys. But if you're just like, want some basics, like, Nicole, give me the basics on what I need to do today to start implementing some guerrilla marketing, maybe for the next trade show. Here are some few takeaways that you can implement. First of all, know who your target audience is. If you don't know who they are and what they like, it's going to be hard to set clear and measurable goals. The next I want you to do is to brainstorm some creative ideas. In design thinking especially, it's important to brain dump as many ideas as you can, as out of the box as you can. It doesn't matter how crazy it gets, but put everything out there and include some varied perspectives, right? Bring in people from your product team, from your sales team, from your accounting department, who knows, to really brainstorm as many ideas as you can for all of the different categories or types of guerrilla marketing that we talked about today. The next thing, after you brainstorm those ideas, I want you to think about some budgeting and resource allocation. Like, how much money do you have to put towards your ideas that you have created? Then decide on what are the most cost-effective solutions and what resources do you already have in place to execute on those things. And the next thing is just creating that campaign and executing on it. The most important thing, though, with guerrilla marketing is that you want to track the measurement of success, or have a measure for success is what I mean. So as you are implementing all of those things, what are your engagement rates doing? How many social media mentions have you had? Have you had an increase in website traffic? Have your reps gotten more requests for presentations or project meetings after the trade show? Gather as much information to track your guerrilla marketing campaign to make sure that it was successful. Because at the end of the day, no matter what type of marketing you're doing, you want to make sure there is a return on your investment. And last but not least, always gather feedback. After you have executed it, or even while you're in the midst of brainstorming, gather feedback from your team and from a few clients that you trust so that you can adjust your strategies accordingly. So that's all I have for you all today. Today, we talked about what guerrilla marketing is, the benefits of guerrilla marketing, some types of guerrilla marketing, We even broke down my favorite guerrilla marketing case study, Momentum at NeoCon 2024. You guys killed it. And we talked about some things that you can start doing today with your brand to implement all of these things for your next trade show. Again, if you're like, Nicole, help us, Thrive in Design, help us, head to thriveindesign.co/contact, schedule a discovery call with me, and then we can come up with a plan for how to get this off the ground for your own interior product company. And don't forget to check out the resources and all the links in the show notes of this episode, and see you in the next one for some more fun information and an amazing guest. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for joining us this week on Thrive in Design. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at Thrive in Design. And for more strategies on how your product company can innovate in the interior design industry, head to training.thriveindesign.co. As always, subscribe to the show to catch every new episode and leave us a review so we can continue to create captivating content. See you next week.